This time I'll call the February 3rd, 2022 meeting to order for the Dickson County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we do have some additions to the agenda, and so I'll go ahead and
Cat table, Earl.
list those. On the agenda, we're going to be adding, we have received some bids for bridge steel. Second item we're going to add is the 2022 Noxious Weed Eradication Report. We also have a conditional use permit to consider for an address commonly known as 2266 3600 Avenue. And with those three items added to the agenda, I would move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second the agenda.
We have the motion and the second to approve the agenda with those additions. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the January 27th meeting, also payroll of $347,001.96, abatements of $2,489.86, added tax of $120, utilities of $19,868.32.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the consent agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commission comments, Ron?
Just real quickly, I want to thank Marty Holt on her retirement and congratulate Rose Johns on taking over the position for working for the county. We really appreciate their dedication and service to the county. Also appreciate Craig Chamberlain for going with us yesterday or Monday actually, and looking at roads and stuff that were around the county that we were concerned about. So we had a good trip. Brad also kept us in line with what was going on. So we appreciate your work there too. So that's all I have.
Okay, Craig.
Yeah, Doug can probably help me explain this a little more. The KAC is filing a meniscus brief with Johnson County on the big box store, and I don't want to screw up the definition of meniscus brief, Doug. So if you could kind of tell me what that involves.
Well, they're
I mean, I know, but
they're not a party to the proceedings, but they're providing information that they may feel like they have knowledge that would be greater than the case that is in front of the court, that may be useful information for the court to have multiple settings.
Yeah, Jay Hall, the KAC is thinking about joining the League of Municipalities in a meniscus brief, or if not, hiring an outside attorney to file a meniscus brief. And what it is in reference to is the box store that Johnson County's filed suit against. And I'm not going to Menards or Walmart to make any difference. It's going to impact the whole state if it's successful in their Walmart in getting the box store valued the way they want to get it. That's all I have.
Okay. So it'd have a ripple effect really for every municipality and county and so on. Okay. And I did not participate in the road trip, wasn't able to on Monday. So, and I don't have anything to report other than earlier we did have our meeting and kind of had some discussion as far as the consent agenda. And then Tim Hamilton was here with zoning and gave us a little bit of an update of some of the things going on in zoning as far as the single family housing that had gone in and in 2021 and 2020. And we continue to see some signs of prosperity throughout the county, which we're grateful for and appreciate the private investment that individuals do for houses and buildings. We'll go ahead and move on. Today, we do not have any proclamations. This would be the time for public comment. And so if there's anyone that would want to comment on something that is not on the agenda, if it's on the agenda, you'll have opportunity to comment when we get to that particular part. But if there's anything that is not on the agenda, and also just want to make sure everybody is signed in, there's a sign-in sheet for anyone that's attending the meeting today. I don't believe anyone online also is going to report, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Our next item is report of county officers. So our county administrator, Brad.
Okay, a couple weeks ago, you had passed a resolution to establish speed limits on 2100 Avenue between Washington and K15. And those signs have been installed. Got those installed, and we also installed our digital speed limit signs temporarily to be able to monitor that traffic and just remind people what the speed limit is. So I passed that information on to Sheriff Davis and told them about the change as well. So we'll see over the next few months how that impacts the problem that Grant Township had illustrated to us. So as we mentioned in the work session, Ronna Coleman with Environmental Services has announced her retirement. So that's another baby boomer, if you will, that we're seeing retire. And Ronna's been with us, I think, 24 years, is that right? Yeah, 24, 25 years. So we're proud that she's able to do that. We're going to see a loss of a lot of experience and knowledge there, but that's part of the game we play. So Saturday evening, I attended the CEO's fundraiser that was out at the Sand Springs venue. They had a full house out there for a dueling pianos presentation, and I think it was overwhelmingly liked. It went very good from 7 to 9 o'clock. I was really proud of the business community in our county, across the county, how they attended that and supported that. A lot of good donations, a lot of good participation. I have not heard how they came out financially, but I'm sure it's going to be very good. So, and the CEO, of course, if you remember, is the program that we have supported financially, as well as the school districts, for the kids, the entrepreneurs in seniors typically that are looking to start their own business or learn how to create their own business from the ground up. So, and then you've got in your packet the staffing report, year-to-date staffing report from Diane, and it shows we've had a couple people leave, and we've had a couple people, new hires, replace those with one of the EMTs we have in EMS that was promoted, had got their AEMT certification. And then Shiloh down at the Highway Department was, besides Janelle, Shiloh was promoted from administrative assistant up to office manager. So the road crews were out yesterday morning treating roads and blading roads. We had just enough snow and a little bit of ice, and it made it worthwhile to get out. I know they went out about 3 in the morning and were out throughout the day working that. So once again, I think they did a good job, as they always do. And then we talked about the RHID program that's going to go in out at the Highlands that the city is proposing. And of course, for that to be successful, it will require approval and support from both the city, the county, and the school district to offset those taxes as that program takes off. So we'll learn more about that in the future. So that's all I've got this morning.
Okay, thank you. Doug.
March 8th at 10 o'clock is going to be the tax sale. And that will take place at the sheriff's department, out in front of the sheriff's department, unless the weather's bad, and we'll squeeze in somewhere. And we've got the defense contracts all executed for Dickinson County, so those are taken care of. That's all I have.
Okay. Right, if it is inclement weather, there's probably room in the end.
We've got to get you in the foyer, yeah. Because we'll have not only the front area, but that area. So we've already talked to Megan and our staff about how we can get inside. So we shouldn't have a problem.
They've been very accommodating. I'm sure we'll have enough room. We're selling about 28 parcels, which would equate to about 46, 47 people involved in the ownership of those parcels that are being sold. And they have still up until, I think it's 4:30 the day before, to redeem their property. Otherwise, it gets sold and they can't bid back in on their own property,
Okay.
nor can an immediate family member.
Okay, thank you. I did not receive any notices or publications in the mail this week. Anybody else have anything they wanted to bring up or any communication they'd had? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. We did have some unfinished business that in regards to a resolution. And what we've done is it's divided up into two resolutions. But we had considered previously last week, Liberty Township, their elected officials, but they also had given a minimum maintenance road agreement recommendation to us. And so we wanted to gather more information. And then also today we have all three commissioners here where Craig was at another meeting this past week. Brad, do you want to go ahead and give a little bit of an overview of this and kind of bring us up to date? And then if there's questions from the commission or comments, we can do that at that time. And then also if there's, after that, if there's any questions or comments from anyone in the audience, we'll hear those.
Sure. Back in early December, you received a request from Liberty Township to declare 3 miles of roadway as minimum maintenance. The first, which is 2 sections. The first is Yard Road from 17 to 1800 Avenue. And the other is Sage Road from 1400 to 1600 Avenue. You had a hearing last week. You heard some comments from the public and from the board, Liberty Township Board. Monday, Ron, Craig, and myself, and I met with Casey Reedy with the township, and we went out and looked at all 3 of those sections. And so today it was tabled last week until today, and so today you're now considering that again for final action. We prepared the resolutions in 2 different resolutions, so if you want to do one or the other, don't want to do either one, want to do them both, you can handle it any way you want to. So that brings us to today.
Okay. And then the purpose as far as a minimum maintenance road in comparison, the liability issues, any
Well,
they have on that?
typically, when you declare a road minimum maintenance, you're going from what has been a road that is little traveled to declaring that you're only going to maintain it what you do need to minimally to keep it open. In this particular case, the road's in good shape. The township indicated last week that they do not intend to maintain it any less than what they have. I felt like it was in really good shape. Sage Road was. Yard Road's a little different story, but it is what it is. Their purpose for bringing it forward is to reduce the liability on the township and ultimately the county with the extra traffic that's on that road because of Rain Road being closed with the bridge replacement. And in the statute that I provided in your packets, the last paragraph of that does state that it removes some of the tort liability from the governing bodies by declaring that if someone goes past those signs that are installed, they do it at their own risk. And if they damage your vehicle or damage something or get injured, it removes some of that liability from the township enough. That explained it well enough, Doug?
Yes.
Okay. So my opinion is, I think it's a good move legally. I commend the township for bringing it up. I'm confident that they're sincere and they're going to keep that road in as good a shape as what it is now, if not better. The intent is not to remove any maintenance from the road. So if you have property or you travel that road, you should not have any problems traveling that road. So, and by doing the minimum maintenance, if once the bridge is done and open and the traffic is back to normal on that section of road, we can always rescind the minimum maintenance order, take the signs down. It's not a permanent move. So it's whatever the township would want to do at that time. So.
Okay. Ron or Craig, do you have any question or comment before we see if any members of the audience want to comment?
I'm good.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that has a question or comment in regards to this, we did have a public hearing last week, but since then, there has been the inspection or a visit that's of some of the commissioners out there. And also Brad had shown me some of the things as far as on the particular road that we're talking about. And we also have it divided into 2 separate resolutions. But if there is a question or comment from the audience, you just please give your name and address and what your concern and comment is. And typically 3 minutes on a comment, and we'll kind of go from there.
Mark Knopp, 1794 Trail Road, Liberty Township Treasurer. Brad is completely accurate in his assessment of what the Township Board would like to do. We are just after the liability side of it to reduce our exposure, especially on a tort liability. So we don't intend to maintain it any less, but that is our intent, is just protect ourselves.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes, ma'am.
2342 Sage Road, Chapman. We own land on the east side of the Sage Road. My comment is, if you're just going to declare the minimum maintenance, can you do it for 6 months? Because once it's done, no offense to the board, but somebody else coming in is going to say, well, it's minimum maintenance. Let's go ahead and just leave it that way and not do it. And we've got a minimum maintenance road on the south side of our property we can't use because it's, it's been washed out enough that you can't take a grain truck on it or anything. So my comment is, can you put like a 6-month timeline on declaring it minimum maintenance?
Question about what is the other one in Liberty, or is it in?
It isn't in Liberty.
It's in Rock. Okay, it's in Liberty.
Yeah, it's just it's 1,500 between Sage and Trail. That's a minimum maintenance road now.
It'd be that driveway we backed into to meet.
Yeah.
Where we stopped and looked, wasn't it?
Probably right there at the top of the hill.
Yeah, right where it drops down.
Yeah.
The one that goes to the, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked down the road, but I haven't seen that. Yeah, I figured it was a closed road.
Yeah, no, it just about is. The east road is bad enough you don't drive on it.
Getting back to the point there is I don't want to put a time limit on it, but if the people in the community feel like it needs to be, they can, come to before the township board and they can come to request to have it taken back as a regularly graded road. It's not taking it off the tax rolls, or taking it and making it closed. And if people in the township are unhappy with the township board, you're elected officials. Yeah. So I think that the tort liability is a reason to do it. And like I said, I didn't know that one down to the right or to the east was it looked like a closed road.
It is.
Okay, are there any other comments? And I think Craig does make a good point as far as one of the remedies is to, communicate with your township board, and there's opportunity there.
Which I might add to that, we do meet regularly. The township board does the first Tuesday of every month, 8 o'clock at the fire station. So if anybody has concerns or.
Love to see some visitors, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it gets full with the same 3 people.
I know when we talked
They have
about
a smile on their face, right?
that they had no plans to change it back. So he must not have been aware that you could.
Yes.
Roger Hummel, 1138 Rain Road. We have property that we own on that road also. My son Ryan and I do. And with your saying that it can be revoked, that minimum maintenance, all we got to do is just do some phone calls or go to a meeting. And I know you're getting yourself out of liability. That road is used a lot right now. And once the bridge is done, we wouldn't be having this conversation if the bridge was done. So I don't have any problem with it.
It's a good road. It really
Oh, yeah.
is. It's in good
It's good.
shape.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's not all weather, but it's a good road.
we have property on both sides of it.
I was impressed by how well it was maintained, so.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? We've heard Brad's report and also have our written reports and comments from the public. So at this time, if the commission, as Brad mentioned, we have two resolutions. The first one has to do with the north right-of-way line of 1700 Avenue and Yard Road, then north to south right-of-way of 1800 Avenue, all located in Liberty Township. And previously, we had these combined into one resolution. And so now that is one of the first resolutions to consider. And we could consider a motion for that. It's resolution 020322.
So move.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion, so moved by Craig and seconded by Ron to go ahead and adopt resolution 020322. This is the one that has to do with 1700 Avenue and Yard Road. Any other discussion or question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. The next resolution we have to consider completes this part, and this is the north right-of-way of 1400 Avenue at Sage Road, then north to south right-of-way on 1600, and this also in Liberty Township. So that resolution, same number, but has A on the end of it, 020322A.
Make a motion to approve that resolution.
And I'll second that.
We have the motion and the second to approve resolution 020322A. And any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And so appreciate hearing from all of you, and glad we could get this taken care of today. And as I mentioned before, we kind of wanted to gather more information and appreciate the work that the township does. And that's all we have on that particular item.
The county does have so many days, if I remember, Mike, to get the statute, to get them up for you. 10 days?
10 days.
Yeah. And then we maintain them, right? Or is that?
The signage.
I think it's up to the township to maintain those after we put them up.
So if somebody tears it down, you got to come in. Well, not you, Ryan, but.
No.
Mark.
Casey.
And, for that matter, even on that, but if there's any signage that has been removed or altered or damaged, the county needs to be notified so we can make sure safety-wise everything's taken care of. Okay, thank you for coming in. And if you want to go back out in the cold, you can. If you want to stay for our meeting, we've got another 5-10 minutes to go here. So. Okay. The next item we have under other business is to consider the approval of the 2021 county inventory. And that is a housekeeping item, but it's also something we do every year. Brad, would you want to comment on that?
Yes, the inventory's been compiled. Thanks to Janelle for doing that. All the department managers have been through their inventory and completed them. I've looked at it and signed off on it, and so we just need your official signatures. It looks to me to be very complete, so.
Okay, thank you. That's done annually, and as Brad mentioned, the department head elected officials, each one of that particular area reviews that along with Janelle.
Need a motion on that?
Yes, we do.
I'll make a motion to accept the inventory.
Second.
We have the motion and the second to go ahead and approve the 2021 county inventory list. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item we had was added to the agenda, and it has to do with bridge steel, and it's some bids that we've received. Brad, if you'd go ahead and give that report.
Sure, in your package, you've got the bid sheet. We have 3 bridges that we're going to replace in 2022. The first one is at 1015 700 Avenue We've got one at 1356 400 Avenue and 300 and Lark Road. All of those will be built by our crews. They'll be steel span bridges. And we have obtained bids from the vendors on all three of those for both the decking and the I-beams and the guardrail and such. And I've illustrated those out. For the one on 700 Avenue, the low bid for the I-beams was Odin Enterprises in Nebraska at $30,776. And the only bid that we received for the push sheeting and deck sheeting was from Wellborn Sales in Salina for $23,000. On 400 Avenue, the I-beams and flat iron was again Odin Enterprises from Nebraska, $26,962, and Wellborn Sales for the push sheeting and deck sheeting, $23,986. And then the third location at 300 and Lark, Wellborn Sales received the low bid on the I-beams and flat iron at $20,730, and they also were the low bid for the push sheeting and decking at $18,261. So we're recommending the Wellborn Sales on the low bid of all items at $86,105, and Odin Enterprises, their bidding price tally would be $57,730. To get this steel ordered now so we can continue building bridges.
And kind of a timeline when these replacements would take place and be completed.
We're done building now. We just finished the one on Utah or.
On Utah.
Yeah, and so the guys will take a little break because we're busy with winter things now. And then, it's not the most pleasurable time to be out building bridges right now. So as soon as they get done, we get through some of the winter stuff, we get the materials in and the weather clears a little bit. I'm guessing probably April-ish they'll start building again.
Okay.
By that conversation, I take none of these are fish passages.
None of these are fish passages, no.
And as far as on the budgets, this would be taken care of out of
His operating budget in the highway department.
And then we also have sales tax that we do collect specific for roads and bridges, which gives us the ability to have a little further reach on maintenance and.
Yeah, and just for the benefit of the people in the room, the sales tax, I believe, is paying for our Green Road project.
Yes, it is.
If it wasn't for the half-cent sales tax, we wouldn't be asking for this because we wouldn't have enough money to pay for these. Without the sales tax, that's helping pay for the $800,000 project on Rain Road that we're doing right now.
You might also, the timeline be done on that bridge for the.
We're hoping April, May. Yeah.
Is it on schedule?
It is on schedule. Yeah, they've got all the piling done. They're laying flat steel or stringers now. So yeah, it's on schedule as close as it can be, luckily. So.
Okay, is there a motion to go ahead and have the bridge material bids accepted?
So move.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second for the bridge materials bids. And as Brad mentioned, it's on 1015 700 Avenue Bridge replacement, 1356 400 Avenue Bridge replacement, 300 Lark Road Bridge replacement. Wellborn Sales for the sheeting total of $86,105, 33 cents. Odin Enterprises materials on that they had for $57,730, 65 cents. Any other discussion or question? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
And I might add too that this isn't the only bridge projects we got going on. We're also in the process of partnering with Clay County to replace a big bridge on First Road county line. Then we're also working on one on 800 Avenue over by Carlton that'll start in the next year or so. Those are contracted bridges. We won't do those, but they're big ones that have been in the works for several years. So.
Okay. Next item we have is our 2022 noxious weed eradication. Derek, do you have a comment on that?
Well, I want to let you guys know for your consideration, we have the noxious waste or noxious weed management plan. And then we also have, which is a smaller part of it, the annual noxious weed eradication progress report. With the annual noxious weed, it consists more of the chemicals that are involved than the overall management plan. So I have two things for you guys to sign if you approve. Last year, we had 8,395 field bindweed acres, 20,401 musk thistle acres. The Sericea lespedeza we treated 618 acres, Johnson grass 340, and chemical mowing did 185. So I think I'm good.
Chemical prices,
Yes.
are they?
They're changing.
Very quickly. I mean, I kind of
In
knew,
a good way, I'm sure.
but I'd rather hear from you on what's,
Yeah, it's gone up at least 3 times since like December. So I just nobody knows yet.
like 3 times, like 300%, or it's gone up 5%, and then a week later, 2%.
Um,
Oh, it's the other. Okay. Really not
Like everything else, they're very volatile.
any new news, really.
Very much so.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a motion to go ahead and take care of this particular item?
I'll make that motion.
We have the motion and the second that we go ahead and approve the 2022 noxious weed eradication, but also the for the annual. So we'll do both of them the same motion.
Yes.
Your intent? Okay. Any other discussion, question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item we have is a conditional use permit, and Tim is here. And if you'd go ahead and give us a summary of that conditional use permit.
Okay. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on this on January 20th, and their recommendation was approval with what staff has given as the recommendation for the conditions. This is property that at 2266 3600 Avenue on approximately 8 acres, located in Section 10, Township 11, Range 4. The applicant is proposing a temporary accessory residence as a living quarters for a relative. And the applicant is Jeffrey Ingram. The only one primary residence is allowed per parcel in Dickinson County. However, Article 21, Section 105, Item 46 does allow for an accessory residence for extended family members on the same lot, provided ownership and all services for such unit are maintained in the name of the owner of the or occupant of the principal dwelling. The applicant has submitted a site plan. The applicant is working with environmental services on the water supply and waste disposal for this unit. The residence will be served by basically the same well as the primary structure, but with a different line. A new driveway serving the accessory residence is proposed. Staff has not received any public comments regarding this proposal. With regard to other departments, environmental services has tentatively issued a permit for a new septic tank and lateral field to service the accessory residence per environmental code and state requirements. This is pending the approval today. Recommendation, both staff and the Planning Commission are recommending approval with the conditions as follows. Applicant must notify planning and zoning in the event of any change in occupancy status or removal of the accessory residence. And item 2 is in the event the residence remains vacant for a period of 1 year, a new conditional use permit would need to be applied for, or otherwise split the residence from the existing parcel with appropriate acreage as required per environmental code. Commission options are to either approve with the above referenced conditions, approve with any additional conditions as deemed necessary, send back to the Planning Commission, or deny the request. And I talked about this prior to this, just a little bit. So if you have any other questions.
And this is an address commonly known as 2266 3600 Avenue.
Yes.
And also the owner of the property, Jeff Ingram, is here, and from what I understand, has not been any other public comment or feedback,
No.
questioning or, okay. Are there any comments or questions from the commission? Any comments from the public in regards to this particular recommendation? Is there a motion to adopt the conditional use permit?
So moved.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second for adoption of the conditional use permit, 22-1, and this is on 2266 3600 Avenue. And Tim, as you mentioned, there is opportunity for review, or it's something that you could go out a year later or 2 years later.
Double check it and make sure.
And,
everything's good.
okay. Okay. I'll go ahead and we'll call for the motion then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. I need to sign that.
Yeah, just right up there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't believe we have anything else before the commission. For a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned.